I just bumped up the amperage a little bit a little while ago, and these last few passes have been so much easier. No more sticking, or very little. Well, it's the next day, and I don't have a thermal blanket that I can wrap this in to cool it down slowly. So what I did was I immediately brought it down here in the basement, and I put it on top of my boiler, and then I wrapped it in my leather apron and my welding shirt. Figured, well, it'll keep a little bit of heat in there a little longer. So the idea is to try and cool it down slowly to help minimize cracking. But I think the whole process that I ended up using of welding a very little bit and then stopping and then waiting and then welding a little bit, not right next to it, and going back, although it resulted in a really kind of messy looking weld job, I think that enabled me to avoid any problems with cracking. But let's give it a good examination right now, and then if it looks good, I'll grind it clean and examine it again. Well, that is ugly. But I don't see any cracks. So the other question, of course, is how do we do on the taking out the warpage? Well, sad to say, it still actually feels pretty bad. I'll have to get a measurement, and we'll see how it is compared to how it was. So I mean, initially when I felt the wobble in this, I thought, wow, boy, that was just a waste of time what I did, cutting this in half and re-welding it. But then I remembered, oh, that's right, when I cut this in half, that's when I discovered that big crack that was hidden. So I wouldn't say that this was a waste of time, even though we got some serious wobble still in there. All right, well, let me get the feeler sticks under there and feeler gauges, stack some up under there, and let's see what we got. Does anybody remember what I had on the first try? Well, that's a good sign that 30 thousandths won't even go underneath there. So right at the very edge there, it's like 26 thou. Maybe less. Somewhere between 22 and 26. Let's try 24. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. So 24 thousandths total would mean I'd only have to, if I wanted to shave this in the mill to bring it down, yeah, so I'd only have to take off 12 thousandths. That's definitely less than what I was talking about having to do before. I don't remember, but I remember it was significantly more than that. So I think before I was out around a total of somewhere like near 60 thousandths, and I was talking about I'd have to take 30 thousandths off each side to even it out. So at least that's an improvement there. Of course, I won't know about the top here until I grind this off and then put this on the plate upside down. But I mean, that was what I had pretty much clamped up, so that really shouldn't have moved And I also want to show you something else. There's a little bit of a rock in this one. And this one has never been broken and welded. This is the original casting. The point is that even the original castings were never perfect. So I can easily get a 6/1000 feeler underneath there. So I'd say 7/1000. This is out 7/1000. And I'm not going to touch this one if I don't have to. I assume that 7/1000, basically that thing will flex, even though it's cast iron. It will flex enough to take that out once it's all bolted down with the weight of the bed on it. All right, so I just hit it with the grinder, and I came down here and I checked it with this parallel, and I still had a couple high spots, so I just went back out and hit it again, and it feels pretty good. I can't rock this parallel at any point on this. I know I don't have any high spots on that, which is the bearing surface here. That's why it's important. If I get a high spot over here or on this side even, I don't really care about that. That's going to be more of a cosmetic thing, and yeah, it's not pretty. Let me give you a close-up of my handiwork. So looks like a satellite picture of some area on the Earth or something, with all of these little valleys and everything, crevasses. But I don't see any cracks in there, so unless there's one hidden deep inside that I can't see, structurally I think it's actually pretty decent. I mean, a better man than me would not be happy with this. But I just know, you know, if I get too finicky with this thing, I'm never going to get it right. It's just going to keep getting worse, you know. I mean, I'm certainly not going to cut it again and try and redo it again. And, you know, the other problem is that even if I just like try and run a bead and fill in this this groove right here to make this prettier, you know, all I'm going to end up doing is introducing a lot more heat into the casting, and I run the risk every time I run another bead, I run the risk of thermal shock and damaging this thing again. So believe it or not, I'm going to actually leave that just the way it is. When it comes down to the wire where I'm going to actually be cleaning this up and painting it, if this is still bothering me, I'll probably just use some JB weld to fill in this area and then sand it smooth. But as far as structurally, I think I'm okay. Call me crazy. Oh, pretty ugly looking. All right, so now I'll put this back on the tripod and we'll check how much rock I have when I put this on the plate now. How about 0? That's funny. That's actually pretty good. There's no rock at all. No perceptible rock. So that surface now is now all in the same plane. Hell, that's better than the original one. Now see, that's interesting to me. The original one also does not have a rock when I put this face down on the plate. It's only when the feet are down. There's a little bit of a rock in there when the feet are down. On both of these. That's actually some good news, because that means I should be able to bolt this down to the table on the mill and sweep across the top and clean up one of these, one or both of these feet, these two corners, and actually, this surface, I know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but right now I'm thinking this surface is perfectly flat. So if I put this perfectly flat surface down on the mill, the bed of the mill, and come across the top here with a cutter, a fly cutter, that I'll end up creating two surfaces here that are in parallel with the top surface.